Yo, it's Alphas W here, guys, and I just got done with an incredible speedrunning session of my first day of classes, my homework. I just got a magical, amazing speedrun session. Frankly, it was incredible. We killed it. Another awesome day here. And frankly, if you're in school or you're doing something like, system related, solving problems, and you're not speedrunning it, you're fucking losing. You're failing hard right now. Okay, you gotta stop doing that and start speedrunning right now. It's going to change your life for sure. This is game changing. I mean, this is a huge deal. I think it took me, this homework's due Saturday, just got done with it. It took me like 2 hours and like 52 minutes, 48 minutes roughly. I'm going to go in and do another session really soon here. We're going to redo the entire thing. It's going to take hopefully under 45. I'm estimating, if I'm lucky, 29 minutes. There were a lot of true-false questions, which take like 30 seconds, start to take a minute once you learn the material. But, so those will be really quick. So I hope I can get down to about 30 minutes. And then eventually, by the end of the day, about 12 minutes, right? So consider that. You can do your homework in 15-minute intervals. So you can do it 5, 10, 15 times in a row in 15-minute intervals. It's a game changer. That's insane. Imagine doing homework 15 times in a row. You're way above everyone else in the class. But even more game-changing than that, you go through the homework so many times, you keep running into issues. You might get the right answer, but you don't know why, right? So you keep running into these specific issues on specific problems, right? So you have to go to your teacher and be like, look, I don't know how to do this part of this problem. I just don't get it. And you consistently do this over like 3 or 4 weeks, and your teacher's going to start to look at you and be like, you're engaged, you're smart, you're on top of it, you're clearly doing the homework. What's going on here? This student's like way above the game. Way above the game. It's not even close. And it's funny because you look at your teacher and you're looking at your students, you're like, look, I'm putting the same amount of effort in you. I'm putting the same amount of time into the work as you. I'm just doing it 100 times more efficiently because I'm a speedrunner. It's not even close, guys. It's not even close. I mean, it's just ridiculous how broken this is as a studying strategy. I don't know how this applies to the corporate world, the work world. I've already speedran my work day. Obviously, speedrunning video games makes you a god at them. I can only imagine like just incredible growth, and obviously natural gameplay is a big element of this, so make sure to join my Patreon, guys. So this is huge. I put in all the details on my Patreon. I put in all the little notes, all the questions, all the samples, everything on my Patreon. It's just a huge deal. This is just game changing, and it's just like alarming to me how nuclear this is. Like in my last term I took, in my second term of school, going back to school, 31 years old, and go back to school. My first term was like 6 months ago, back in spring term. I only realized I should speedrun my homework in week 10, like right before finals, and I got 100% on both my finals. I was like, well, okay. I mean, I didn't feel good. I may as well have slept through them, or I could have spent 30 minutes on these finals. Everyone else takes 2 hours. I get 30 minutes. I literally got 100% on both tests. It jumped my grade up so much in both my classes. Like GPA is like growing crazy. But that was in week 10. I'm like, what if I did it the whole term? So we're going into fall term, speedrunning everything, all my homework, all my midterms, everything I can do. I'm just gonna speedrun everything and forget about the traditional way of people looking at classes, where they're trying to get the right answers, they're trying to get full credit on this garbage. Just who cares about that, guys? Throw that out the window. We're just focusing on speedrunning. Get the speedrun good, and it's cool if you speedrun homework, because what happens is you get really, really, really aggressive about getting clean, effective, efficient solutions. And guys, it's actually even more game-changing than this. I'm not even changed. It's like blowing my mind just talking about it. What happens is you even start to... You do the homework so many times in a row. Like, let's say you do homework 10 times in a row. Because by the 10th time you're doing it, it takes 20 minutes, 15 minutes, You do it 10 times in a row. You have multiple copies of the homework. Like, if you write it down pen and paper, you have multiple copies of the homework. You can actually rifle through it and like, okay, this one's better than that one. Oh, I really like this copy. I did a super good job this time. It's clean, it's efficient, it's just super organized. I'm gonna turn this into my teacher. Even though I'm spending the same amount of time as my classmates, but I have 10 copies of homework, and some of them are like really clean, really efficient. And then you turn that into the teacher. Teacher's wondering like, what's going on here? Did this guy print this off the internet or something? Like, are you cheating? What's going on? But he keeps coming in and asking me questions. About like specific problems. Like, I mean, if he was cheating, he would know these answers, or he wouldn't be communicating with me like what's going on here, gamers? So it's just game changing. And here's some B-roll of my speedrun time, like of the 40. It's 2:48. I mean, let's go do another run right now and see what I'm expecting half an hour. Let's just see what I can do here. And it's just mind blowing. It's just even better than this, because another thing that'll happen to you once you become a winner. You turn into an alpha gaming speedrunner. Another game changer, and again, everyone's saying speedrunners are beta male, speedrunners are transsexuals, all this and that. Like, I get it in the gaming community. Maybe it's just the gaming community that has problems. I think speedrunning itself is just like a gold mine. It's just clearly a gold mine. And natural gameplay in alpha gaming is just clearly a gold mine. There's Pop and Alpha is back again. So I just did my second run. You got a 37, I believe. It's a pretty game-changing run. It's pretty epic. Like, this is just crazy stuff we're doing. And it's actually really cool because they learned a lot about the assignment and the material that was eye-opening. So one of the problems I had a very specific issue with, I just didn't understand it. And I even Googled it. And you know how if you Google a lot of these problems, it just gives you the answer? Yeah, I Googled it. The exact question came up, like word for word. But it's the wrong answer. The Google result was giving me the wrong answer. And I just had no idea what was going on. So that one stumped me. Oh, I gotta cross here. That one stumped me my first attempt. And I lost like 30 minutes on that. This time, I knew the answer, but I didn't really know why entirely. So I tried to just do it again, because that's, I'm trying to be authentic with my attempts here. I'm not trying to be a cheater. I tried to do it again, and I actually, as I was doing it, as I was writing out, it clicked in my brain. I was like, oh, that's why it's false. That's why it's not true. That's why it's like that. And that was interesting, because I was actually going to show the teacher that and ask the teacher about that. But I don't need to ask the teacher about that anymore. It kind of makes sense. So, hey, that's neat. And yeah, that's kind of like this whole speedrunning idea, hypothesis, because I literally real time becoming better at the material. And another thing about this, I just learned another thing walking to my library, to my apartment, to my jacket. I learned another thing. So like in matrices, if you don't know anything about matrices, basically like A plus B plus C equals a number, right? X plus Y plus Z equals a number, and there's like different rows of it. But that number it equals doesn't really matter for like conceptually it doesn't really matter. So a lot of these questions are just like conceptual matrix questions. And I'm like, you have to write it out and solve the problem. But that answer a lot of times doesn't matter. So instead of writing that answer out, I'm just gonna write A, or I'm just gonna write a dash. I'll probably just write ABC. Just put a number. That way I don't have to like do a calculation that is useless. Why? Because that's faster. I'm faster to write A than just do a pointless calculation. And that's why I like the speedrunning part of this, because I have a grading system, I have a value system for everything. If you're trying to get the right answers, you don't necessarily have that. Like some people are like, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it. It's not about laziness though, it's about speed. And there's just no point in doing that. And that's gonna, if that comes up in a quiz or a test, it's like that, it just adds up. But also, it's the type of thing where, this is all foundational stuff. Like my comprehension of these matrices is improving. My comprehension of linear algebra, just level 1, it's like basic stuff. It's just improving. And this is foundational, and it's going to positively impact the rest of the term. And frankly, I did the homework in 40 minutes. My goal is a 39. I know I can get down to a 15 or like an 18. So I have a long way to go. Like I'm nowhere near where I want to be in that. So I gotta hit this up like at least 2 or 3 more times. And it doesn't want to take like another hour, maybe an hour and a half with breaks. I do like to take breaks afterwards just to let my brain think. It only take another hour and a half with breaks, so I can get done. It's like, what time is it? I get done about 6. Take another break and then start on my other homework assignment. And yeah, that to me, that's just kind of that's crazy. I built an incredible foundation for the material, and it only took me a few hours. And I came with problems, asked myself questions, solved them, and while I was doing it, I don't even need to ask the teacher anymore. I'm like, right now I'm fully prepared for any kind of quiz. Like we have a quiz tomorrow, and she's like, well, there's gonna be a quiz tomorrow, but there's not much material, so but there's gonna be a quiz. Right now I'm like fully confident. Like I can take a quiz on the whole week and stuff. Of course, that quiz tomorrow is gonna be a complete joke. I'm prepared for any type of question. I'm prepared for all the whole thing. It's like, and it just took me a few hours to do that. And it's like, that's just pretty mind blowing, guys. If you've ever studied for tests, a lot of times, it's always happened to me. It's the same if you practice in speedrunning. That's why natural gameplay is so powerful. you run out of stuff to do. I mean, you run out of stuff to study. You run out of stuff to practice after like so many hours. You just kind of sit there like, what do I do? Do I do the same room over and over and over? I mean, it doesn't really do much after a while. Where if you have a better value system, it's like, oh, or you have a you basically have a speed run. You can just keep doing it. You can just keep doing it infinitely, keep doing it forever. So yeah, there's something big that I want to get into. Actually, I wanted to get into also my spreadsheet I made it's on my Twitter. I made a spreadsheet for like, hold up guys, I'll tell you about it later. I'll tell you about it later because it's kind of game changer. But we're back in the library, so. Hey guys, it's been a few days since my last video. I wanted to get some examples, but things just went kind of haywire, so I think we're gonna have to scrap that. I did have a guy in my Discord post a good conversation topic, which I wanted to go over probably the next video. But yeah, one thing I wanted to just talk about, if you know anything about like matrices or matrices in math, it's just like a set of like zeros and ones, rows and columns. Or I mean zeros and other numbers too, right? But when you simplify them, you get a bunch of zeros at the bottom and on the left side. And like one of my arguments is like, stop writing those zeros. It's just pointless. I mean, it does like look better, I guess technically it's right, but frankly, it's just pointless, and I think it's a waste of time. And that's what I'm talking about. Like in speedrunning, your homework is like, if you're not speedrunning it, it doesn't matter. You can write it or not write it. When you are speedrunning it, it does actually make an impact. But writing the zeros is slower. It adds nothing. And you know, what really matters is like what you're doing on the test, because I think this is interesting. Most of my classes, 80% of the class is the tests. It's just tests and quizzes. 80% of the class, 80 to 90%. So, and those are timed. Tests are timed. So your grade comes down to a timed questions that you know, you only get to do this one time too. So it's like you need to be prepared for that. And you know, when you run the numbers, I just don't see the point in writing those zeros down. Maybe for the final answer, but for all the problems up to that final answer, it just seems like a waste of time. So that's the way I look at it. And you know, speedrunning my homework and speedrunning my old midterms, it gets me a lot more prepared for those quizzes and those tests, because you get to do it, get to do it again, get to do it again, get to do it again, and every time you do it, it's like, oh, this is wrong, oh, this is slow, this is disorganized, you know, because a test, guys, it's not just all about like getting the right answer. Truthfully, conveying what you're trying to say, it really helps the teacher out. She's going to give you more credit for that. You know, being clear in what you're trying to say, organizing yourself, it's going to help you out in like long, hard, difficult problems. We're not talking about simple, easy problems. We're talking about longer, complicated problems, right? Especially if you do like physics. Like think of physics problems; they're very long, they're difficult. You know, just having a clean, organized plan before you start the problem that you're aware of and you can acknowledge and you can clearly tell me any time of the day. That's what you want, and that's going to take time to develop. That's going to take a lot of effort. That just takes time. So why you're not going to learn that on the test? You're not going to learn that the day before the test. But if you speedrun your homework and your midterms, you will build up those habits. You will build up that you know, those intelligence points. So I think that yeah, I think it's just really strong. It's just a strong method for studying. I have a bunch of homework Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm definitely going to get some examples of just stuff I've changed or I've thought about or I'm reorganizing, because yeah, there's just tons of examples, and I'm way better at math than I was, you know, a few months ago, and I think we're just starting. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video.